Wild Ones. It's Bernadette. I'm here with your Pick a Card Tarot reading for Wednesday, November 25th, 2020. And I'm just laughing because usually I pull the card and then go put on something that's going to make me feel like I'm channeling the energy of that card and that spirit, totem, or power animal, and just kind of, set me in the mood and use all the, all the color therapy and the feels and all of that. And don't y'all know? I put on this outfit this morning because I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna have to go to the orchards to pick some fruit for my world famous sangria. I do, however, already have my apples, my Honeycrisp apples, and they are, oh my gosh, they're good this year. And when I say the orchards, understand I mean the orchards of my local supermarket, Publix. And I did already buy the wine, a nice Coppola. It wasn't the reserve, the Diamond Reserve, which I really prefer to put that cab in my sangria, but it's what they had for a really, really good price. So I bought it, and they didn't have any of the reserve on the shelf. And so I'm wearing my overalls because, I'm going to go pick my fruit, and I got to be in the mood because Lord knows something's going to happen today at the supermarket. It always does. But then I sat down, shuffled the cards, y'all. Come on now. The Roadrunner. The Knight of Swords, and that's all about courage and action and moving fast, moving quickly, getting things done. And y'all know I got to blaze through that Publix today. I've got to blaze because it's going to be crazier than crazy, cray cray. And so I just laugh because the symbolism has so much to do with Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday, and so that's Mercury. That is the bridge. It's bridging the beginning of the week with the later part of the week and into the weekend. And it's the solar plexus chakra. And it's all about the creativity. And it's all about the sun energy. And it's all just, it's just all this beautiful, abundant, sparkly, let's go, let's get it done. But I am here, when a knight rides in, it's, I am here to save the day. And that just cracks me up, which is, yes. When I bring my sangria to our family functions, that's what I sing when I walk in the door. I'm here to save the day because I have brought sangria, right? And listen, it doesn't matter. A family function is generally for those of you in recovery or have family members that are that deal with those kind of issues, substance or alcohol, that kind of thing. I am not making light of it. I am not. But for other families, we, a little nippy nip every now and again, and we're here to save the day. So let's just jump right in there. So when you take a look at the traditional meanings of the Knight of Swords, and remember, swords can cut back and forth between air energy and fire energy, right? It just depends on who you are and how you're reading the cards, how you want to read the cards. It may even depend on the client and the story that's being told. Take a look at his symbolism. I think one of the most fascinating things about this card is that you can't see the tip of the sword. And when I started diving deep into tarot card meanings many, many years ago, I loved what I read, which was that you can't see the tip of the sword because when he does fell that sword, it's going to be swift and true, and people will never see it coming. Now, oftentimes that can mean, getting back at someone, although I hope you guys don't do that. Or it can mean, bringing down some, you got to have a come to Jesus talk with somebody, or laying down the law, or, what is it they say around here? Getting right with God, tough love, that kind of thing. But it doesn't always mean that. And I always wonder when I teach tarot classes, or I'll sit in for another teacher or whatever. I always wonder why people go to that first, the negative first. Because depending on the cards that are around it, it can be such a positive omen of going for the things that you want, but just kind of keeping your plans a little bit to yourself, kind of under wraps a bit until you are ready to go wham, and just slice the ribbon open, let the curtain fall, and your great work is standing there, right? Like when they do a ribbon cutting for a piece of art, or, a new storefront or whatever, everything is behind curtains, it's behind closed things, and then they just go snip, and that ribbon falls away, and there you go, there it is. And that may not be with anything outside of you, that may be with something inside of you. So, for instance, I'm wearing an owl ring today, right? Has nothing to do with the reading today, although it is a bird. But I'm reminding myself as I'm walking through Publix, don't buy the Mike and Ike's, don't buy the Reese's cups, don't buy this, don't buy that. I've got to lay off the sugar, y'all. I'm trying to kill myself. I got to lay off the sugar. She says that she drinks a Mexican Coke every morning, but that I am working on myself as my great work. And that may be why the Knight of Swords and Roadrunner has come to you today is, listen, you guys, the tarot, yes. Is it about omens? Yes. Is it, can you use it to predict the future? Absolutely you can. Can you use it as clues, and messages of why things happened in the past and how you can move forward? Yes, it's totally a blueprint for anything you want in life. But mostly it's the hero's journey. And that journey is all about you. And what are you doing? What are you doing to self-actualize? What are you doing for self-improvement? What are you doing to bring your personal power in? Which is everything that the animals are doing. You and I just are achieving this through our spiritual, beliefs, faiths, whatever. And other people do it differently. They go to a Tony Robbins thing and they rah, rah, rah in an audience of 5,000 other people that have paid $45,000 to be there. And you can have my videos for free. So, all that said, the other thing that I love about the Knight of Swords is that it is this guy, and certainly it applies to us girls. He just blows right in, and he's kind of a little bit of show off. He's got butterflies on his horse, and he's got a big red, superhero cape, and riding into battle. Okay, but the color of red is, it's like the color of orange. It's about passion. It's about drive. It's about, just your animalistic. God loved Maslow, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's about your physical. It's just about that thing that gets you up in the morning and keeps you going. Because if you notice, this poor old boy is riding through a desert, which is, this and a million, it's hard to ride through a desert, but this and a number of other reasons why Roadrunner wanted to be the Knight of Swords, because this, my God, Roadrunners, first of all, they can run at 15 miles an hour, but they can sprint at like 20 to 30. They're the fastest flying birds. So of all the birds that can also fly, they're the fastest. And I'll get to them in a minute, but it's really interesting to note that they have that earth element about them where they can move and they can make decisions and they can, defend themselves, and they can have all these great things going on, and then they can fly as well. So on this Wednesday, when you're talking about bridging gaps with things, man, I just really, really encourage you to think about that, to think about bridging gaps between divine and mortal. That's the easy way to say it. But it's for anything that you want to go for, anything that's happening in your life. Maybe you're spending this kind of time in your life figuring out what's happened in the past. And these can give you really, really great clues. So, all that being said, going back to the traditional tarot card meanings of the Knight of Swords, then, understand his visor is up because he wants everybody to know exactly who he is. And if there are shenanigans that are going on, he's the one putting the end to the shenanigans. Well, that's a call to every mom out there in the world. Don't make me tell you twice, right? My mom didn't even have to say that to me. She just had to look at me and go, and that was it. I was scared. I was like, oh, yeah. So that is such a call to all you moms out there. But the other thing is, again, the helmet, the feather plume in it is red. That's swiftness. That is passion. And then you've got the birds on his tabard and his horse's reins. And so, also look at the birds in the sky. Again, that's like the metaphoric, theoretical, symbolic, aspect of the knight's ambitions. Again, so perfect for this guy or girl because, meep, meep, and he's zooming through the desert, or I'm going to refer to them as they. They're zooming through the desert, and then poof, they're flying. So let's talk about this again. Maybe you're going through some kind of desert time, you're in some kind of barren wasteland. Because everything the day before Thanksgiving is a barren wasteland. And yes, I understand the double-edged sword of Thanksgiving. I do understand that. That's not the subject of today's video. Please don't write about it in the comments. I'll delete, delete, delete. I love you, but I will delete, delete, delete. But and for those of you that don't, live in America, you don't care. So whatever. The point was that Wednesday is a barren wasteland for food because Thursday's coming. But for those of you that don't live here, or don't have anything to do with the holiday or whatever, it's really important for you to take a look around and what kind of barren wasteland do you have? What are you trying to get through? What are you trying to go through? What kind of dry environment is going on? And that's it. Just channel the Knight of Swords and channel the Roadrunner and you're through, right? Okay. So let's also say, so the Knight of Swords isn't always by the book. He's not that kind of guy, but he does have a code and he's very flexible. So for instance, what that means is when people see how I dress, how I talk, how I walk, what I do, they assume all kinds of things about me, and what my belief systems are and what I like and what I don't like. And I get that a lot. And some of those things are true and some of those things are not true. Some of those things that I believe in and actions that I take and ways that I do things are not, they're not airy fairy, purpley, gurply, angels and namaste and blessings every, and I don't chant everything I say. And, I'm not like that. Some days I'm like that. Some days I'm not like that. But my core beliefs, even though I'm kooky, my core way of doing things are really very grounded and very solid. And that works for me. It may not work for you. Don't know what works for you, but just know that you don't have to make a commitment to one or the other. You can be a little kooky, be your own, be your own version of fabulousness, and also still have, things about you that might not be associated with someone like you. And that may be a very big call today, because especially if y'all, Lordy, for y'all that are going to family functions, even if you're just Skyping or Zooming or whatever in and can't be with your families tomorrow, Thursday, my heart goes out to you, number one, but you may be the black sheep of the family. You may be the odd duck out. God knows I was, and still am. So yay for me, but when, like my mom used to say, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, she'll get the job done. See what I mean? Okay. So if, listen, I don't, for these readings yet, although I'm going to probably start, I don't know, maybe after the first of the year, I don't traditionally read, because I read from my own deck, the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, and it does have the, the tarot deck in it that is associated with the traditional Rider-Waite. It uses that system, Rider-Waite, tarot deck. And I don't normally read upside down, but, with the inverted version of the card, but I really do believe in doing that. Some people are like, ew, no, I don't want to bring all that negative energy to the reading. Okay, I'd love to live in la la land every day of my life too. Believe me, I would. And I have structured my environment to do that as best I can. But y'all, SHI, double hockey sticks, that happens in life. And would you rather be alert for it and have the loving guidance and support of the tarot and of the spirit totem and power animals? I can't make that decision for you, but if I was giving you advice, heck to the yeah. So, oh yeah, that's not double hockey sticks in the SHI word. It's in HE-double-L hockey sticks. Dang, okay, y'all. So, I'm forgetting my swear words. That's never a good thing. So, so when you get this card upright, know that your goals and your values are very clearly defined, but you're also willing to kind of be outside the box, think outside the box, do outside the box. And if you're in a relationship with others, you're probably really you're either a lifelong friend and would live and die for them, or you're a sworn enemy. No, either way, nobody can call you a hypocrite. So people always know where they stand with you, and that can be a really good thing. Now, if this card has come into your life today, maybe you need to take a stand about something and let people know where they stand with you. No passive aggressive nonsense, no hinting, trying to, do things or see things. My favorite thing is when somebody says, and I just couldn't get off the phone with them, or they wouldn't let me leave. Or I'm like, somebody holding a gun to your head? Well, no. Then why couldn't you extract yourself from the situation? And well, they said and did whatever. And okay, and again, were they holding a gun to your head? No. Did they chain you into their basement? No. And why is it so hard for you to say, this has been fun. You know, thank you so much. I'm going to depart now. I'm going to leave now. Tell them the truth about something. I've got to get home to do something, something, something. Hope to do this again sometime. If you feel the need to sugarcoat things, sugarcoat them. But don't let anybody trap you. Let them know right where they stand. Because what if you guys have a real authentic conversation, and then you don't have to put up with the nonsense anymore? Maybe they were feeling the same way. They don't want to put up with your nonsense. Or maybe your relationship goes to a deeper level because y'all were honest about some things. Like, honest, right? Okay. When someone offers you an apple, it's not always a poison apple. Just remember that. When you extend your hand, remember these are Honeycrisp apples. When you extend your hand, it doesn't have to be crazy nonsense. You don't have to cut off their hand with your sword. But, listen, remember something, a pure heart is not necessarily a big heart. Not when this card is drawn. But there is a lot of heart in there. Meaning what matters, matters. And that's all that matters is what matters. I know you're like, what? What matters to the Knight of Swords matters so deeply. And what doesn't matter to him is superfluous. He doesn't care. It doesn't even come into his existence. So when it does try to poke into his existence and waste his time, he just shoves it out of the way, whack, with his sword, and there it goes. But that creates more of a heart. The more you're not focused on irrelevant, just, again, superfluous, just, is it really, what purpose is it serving? Don't waste your time on that. Listen, you've got a sword to brandish and a desert to cross and flying on your beautiful white horse, your trusty steed that it's white, it's the color of divine energy. You're being carried by divine power, by divine everything. Take the high road always. That's not advice. That's what this card is telling you. What matters to you should matter to you, and matter so much that it's a deal breaker. That's it. It's a deal breaker. Be willing to share those with people, right? And be willing to suffer the consequences if they can't. And you may not even be suffering. You may lay down the law about something, or just tell somebody, listen, this is a deal breaker for me, and say it in the most loving that you can. And they say, well, I can't meet that. Or you may be considering a new job or a new business, and you may come upon something, a lifestyle, a romance, or whatever it is, and decide there's something you just can't live with, and you walk away. Yay! Isn't it better for everybody? Yes, it's going to sting a little bit at the beginning, but I promise you'll be so glad you did, because your sacred space inside is not being taken up with superfluous, meaningless nonsense. Okay, so that said, in all reality, the Knight of Swords is not the most diplomatic person all the times, and really wants to be right about everything. So, the end doesn't always necessarily justify the means, but most of the time it does, as long as everything is done from, I hate to say it, but it's true, a place of love. And so just be honorable in your actions, words, and deeds today, every day, and strike swift and true. But the biggest thing is, remember when to show mercy to yourself first, and then to everything and everyone around you. So remember what I said, what's the sword? It's double-edged. I'm a Libra, I'm a Gemini, I'm a Pisces. Okay, so when we talk about Roadrunners, oh my gosh, these are the most fascinating creatures. Not because of Wile E. Coyote, although I can never get enough of that cartoon. They are also, they have nicknames. They're called earth cuckoos, chaparral cocks, snake killers, ground cuckoos, and they are just the most fascinating critters. They just are such great symbols of luck and courage and strength, but mostly endurance. And a lot of people use their feathers when they find them, because I know you found them. That's how you got those feathers for all birds, right, everybody? Yes, you found them. They've been known to ward off evil. They're used in all kinds of ceremonies and rituals to ward off evil. And I love the fact that Roadrunners have two of their little claws and feet in the front and one in the back. So it makes this really perfect X spot in the sand and the dirt. And so it's pretty easy to find them. But I love that because when they are running towards something or running away from it, X marks the spot. And wherever they land, X marks that spot. That's the spot you're supposed to be in. That's the spot that was meant for you. It's the best spot. And you know what? X marks it. So when you are taking a look at, maybe how to incorporate a little bit more, I get asked all the time about how to really incorporate the animal medicine and energy into your into your daily practices. I'm going to do a lot more videos about that. Listen, certainly you can read an article, you can watch a video, you can know the symbolism and meaning of an animal, but just like I have this ring, right? Because when I gotta go to the frozen aisle, there's stuff I need, and I'm gonna walk by that ice cream, and that ice cream is gonna tempt me. It's gonna say like this, because that's what they do. Other people can't see it, and I don't know why, because I see it very clearly. But those little containers, they just, I don't know, man, like the lights darken and this sultry music starts and they start doing all these dances just beckoning me, especially when Ben and Jerry's has a BOGO. Sweet mother of the goddess. Anyway, you might carry a totem of some kind. You might have a piece of jewelry that reminds you, because Al is going to protect me today, y'all. I'm going to fly through that ice cream aisle, and they'll never hear me because you can't hear Al's fly. They'll never see me. So I've got the protection of Al today. I'm not kidding. And plus from all the people, I don't even know why I waited to go in on one of the busiest days of the year, the day before Thanksgiving, but I did. And so I'm just going to have to suffer the consequences. But when you want to move through something quickly, when you want to, when you just want to really know where you're going, Roadrunner energy is some of the best energy that you can have. The other thing that I love about them is, man, this is such a cool thing. So hummingbirds at night go into a thing called torpor, and that's where all of their body, everything lowers, their heartbeat, their blood pressure. You almost think they're dead, but they do that to conserve energy, because y'all, what a hummingbird has to go through during the day expending energy to feed is unbelievable. Well, what happens is that the temperatures in the desert drop so low at night. Roadrunners also go into torpor, and that's how they deal with it being so cold, because it's crazy hot during the day, and then it's like at night. And that's how they deal with it. So realize that as you're bridging this gap today, remember it's Wednesday, it's bridge the gap day, something about extremes is going on. Super highs, super lows, super happy, super sad, super something. It's okay as long as you can deal with it in a healthy way, in a natural way, like Roadrunner does. Now, they love to sunbathe. I mean, before it gets 50,000 degrees and everything's catching on fire in the desert, they turn their backs to the rising sun. They droop their wings, but raise their feathers. So it's just the most beautiful. It just always reminds me of a bunch of little angels. I don't know how old y'all are, but there's some of the most beautiful, this movie called City of Angels, if you've never seen it, with Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan. Y'all, there's a scene in there where or a couple of scenes where the angels stand at where the angels stand right next to the ocean on the sands of the beach, and the sun is rising and this music is playing. God, it's the most beautiful thing. And every time I watch a Roadrunner do that, or I've seen them do that in the past, it reminds me of that. And so I would tell you, get somewhere where you can get some light on those feathers, get some warmth into you. Spread your feathers. Fly if you want to, run if you want to, mark the spot of X wherever you want to go from, or go away from, or go to. Call in the night energy of the Knight of Swords. Be victorious, be valiant, be honorable, be courageous. Just be courageous. You've got this. You can do it. Whatever it is you do want to do. And likewise, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Just don't. Don't. There, Having said that, there are things we have to do every now and again that we don't want to do, you know, certainly, but really at the end of the day, I don't think that's a lot. You can boil it down to about that much if you're really honest with yourself. So use that sword to cut through all the BS, find out what's really important to you, and do your thing. At the end of every day, at the beginning of every day, what's the most important thing? To stay wild.